In my last video, we went over how to buy and invest in physical silver. We spoke about all the pros, all the cons, things you need to think about. We're talking about things like the VAT added, things like how to store it, where to buy from, the kind of things to look out for, and so on and so forth. Now, the issue with physical silver is that once you bought it, you need to think about things like where to physically store that piece of silver, and also security features. So if you have your neighbors knowing you got a lot of silver in the home, you might have a bit of a problem in your hands. Someone might just come knocking. Now, this is where ETFs and paper silver can come in. Rather than having to actually purchase the silver, you can just invest in ETFs that track the price of silver, which means that you're able to take advantage of the movement of the silver prices, whether it's going up or down, and at the same time, you don't have to worry about those other issues that we mentioned. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you how to invest in paper silver or ETFs as we call them. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them below. But now I'm going to share my screen. So what you want to do is go to your favorite online platform. In this case, I'm using Trading 212. So I'm just going to type in physical silver. Like so. And then Trading 212 will give you all the different options. So you got one from iShares, Wisdom Tree, and so on and so forth, Invesco. So you just want to look at whichever one you want to check out. So these are ETFs, so they're exchange traded funds, which means that they're tracking the price of silver and they're all bundled together into one package. So we can use our trusted Just ETF website to look at those and just search that, and it gives you all the different options. So you got 10 different options there, so I use this to narrow it down a bit. So first thing I tend to do is to go by the expense ratio. So you got 0.19. Because of the nature of the ETFs, these will be a lot more expensive than, say, an S&P 500. So typical index tracking for ETF would have an expense ratio, so that's the amount the fund manager charges for you to manage that fund on your behalf. They'll charge you as low as 0.03, 0.05 because they're passively managed. With this kind of one, they're as high as 0.75%, which is substantially higher, 10 times more in some cases, more than that. And you can get some as low as 0.19. Remember that since it's silver, the majority of them will not pay you dividends. It looks like this particular one from Income Shares Silver Plus Yield, so it looks like they're using some form of options. So this is an advanced way of trading where they're able to put options trades into the market, and they'll get premiums from that. So that's actually quite interesting. But for this case, we're looking at something that's physically backed. So for every ounce of silver, they physically have the silver to correspond with it. We'll look at things like the font size next. So in this case, we want something not so small. So that's probably a bit too small for my liking at the moment. But then you'll also want to look at the performance. So you can see the performance are quite similar. And what's quite interesting is that you find something there that's a bit different from the rest of them. But we'll talk about that as a third option very shortly. Right, so for the sake of this, we'll go with the, let's say, the Wisdom Tree Silver. It's got good volumes there in terms of font size. The total expense ratio is on the higher end. It's physically backed. I'm just picking this at random, by the way. So we'll go with that. Click on it. We've got the ticker symbol there, which is PHSP. So we'll go back to our Trading 212. So we'll go PHSP. Make sure it's there, and there we have it. You click on that. Again, you want to check the performance, make sure it's generally going up, just like you would any other instrument that you're using. So I'm just checking the time. As you can see, it's one that I'm already invested in on this portfolio. And then you also just want to make sure that the price is there. Scroll down a bit, it gives you the volatility, expense ratios there. Right, so it gives you the performance. This is over the past year, it's 31.47% up for the last year. Over the past 3 years, it's 28.83% up, and the 5-year average is 6.79% up. And it gives you a little bit of information about the fund allocation, and it tells you how it does it. And if you want a bit more information there, just take the time to read all that. Okay, right, so we've now decided this is what we're going to go for. We're going to invest in it. You simply click on buy, and then you use either a market or a limit order. For the sake of this video, I'm not going to talk about stop or stop limit. You type in how much you want to invest. So in this case, I'm going to say £1. So market order means you'll find the closest price to the current market price and execute at that. So it might not be 2,767 pence, it might be 2,800, for example. It just means that the system will try its best to find the price as close to that as possible. That's all that means. You click on review, you get your summary there. So it tells you it's a market buy, number of shares, how much it's worth, commission free because it's trading 212. Certain platforms will charge you, and then it gives you the total there. Simply click on send buy order, and job's a good one. Because it's a weekend, that will not execute till Monday. On Monday, when that executes, you'll have one share in that ETF. Alternatively, you can use a limit buy. So in this case, you tell it how many shares you want to buy. So let's say £1.27. It tells you how many shares you get for that price, and then you type in the maximum you want to pay. So in this case, I'll just put 2,800, let's say, and then you then review it. It gives you the summary once again. So it tells you to limit buy that this time around, number of shares you're gonna get, how much is worth, what the price, the maximum price. So that's the limit price, the maximum price you're willing to pay. If it's any higher than that, it just won't execute. If it's lower than that, then it will execute. If you get at that price, then it will also execute. Expiration, never. If the market was open, it'll give you an option to be able to put that to end of the day rather than never. So you got the option of both. Commission is free, and the total value there. Click on buy, and it'll execute as soon as the market opens. Now with the market order, it'll execute at the best price available. At the limit order, it'll execute at a price on or below the maximum price you've set. So there you have it. You're now a proud investor in silver. Bear in mind, this is paper silver or ETF silver rather than the actual physical silver. There are obvious advantages and disadvantages. So for example, even though you don't physically own the silver, it means that you can participate in the movement of the silver price. You don't have to worry about storing it. You don't have to worry about where to keep it. You don't need to worry about insurance. You don't need to worry about people breaking into your home. And you can actually buy and sell it whenever you like, as long as the market is open. So it's a lot more liquid than normal silver. The other advantage is that you don't have to worry about VAT. Once you buy physical silver, you're effectively starting at minus 20%, which is absolutely ridiculous in the UK. In other countries like America, you don't have to pay VAT, so it's a lot more accessible, and it makes more financial sense for investors in places like America or Switzerland than in the UK, where you have to think about the 20%. Also, there's something called allocated or unallocated silver. If you buy a physical piece of silver, if it's allocated, it means that your name is on the actual piece of silver. It means it's yours. If it's unallocated, it means that you're not actually, you don't have a piece of silver in your name earmarked for you. It just means that you have a claim to silver. Once you buy an ETF, you don't actually have any claim to any silver at all. You're just buying a piece of a company that has a fund, and that fund is tracking the price of silver. So it's very important that you remember this and not think that you own silver. Okay, so those are the pros, those are the cons. So it means also that if you don't have an awful lot of money. So for example, an ounce of silver, silver Britannia for example, is currently around about £40 an ounce. And once you add in the spread and the premiums and whatnot, you're probably going to be spending around £44 to £45 delivered. With an ETF like this one, you don't have to worry about that, because there's nothing being delivered to you. You just buying the ETF that does all the work for you. So in the next video, we're going to move on to the third main way of investing in silver. Now with this one, you can actually gain some dividends in that. So you really don't want to miss this. I hope you have taken something from this. If you enjoyed it, if you learned something, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share this, because it's word of mouth like this that makes people actually tune into the channel. There are people out there who are looking for this information. They're ready to invest. They have a lot of money set aside, or people who are just starting out their journey. They just need someone to give them some sort of guidance. You can be that person that sets them on the way. So just share this. If there are things that I've missed out, leave them below. Let us know what you're investing in. Do you have Britannias? Do you have Maple Leafs? Do you have international ones? Are you more of a bar person? Have you bought and sold silver in the UK or outside of the UK? Are there any differences? What kind of weights do you do? There's all sorts of things that we can talk about. So make sure you leave all your comments below. Don't forget to click that notification button, so every time we upload a new video, you can actually see them. And as always, thank you very much for your time, and join me next time. It's a Roadman Investor.